guys, my name is Kayla, and I have made some really cool connections to self-presentation and online dating. This is probably one of my favorite assignments that we've done um, in grad school so far, mostly because it's not just here, write this paper to make this connection. I actually get to apply it to something that I've seen outside of the classroom. And for me, that kind of learning sticks with me better. So, it was kind of weird not to have as many parameters that I'm used to. But I really enjoyed the freedom, and I hope that you enjoy the connections as much as I did. Okay, so diving in, I have seen the movie Love Guaranteed. It's a Netflix original. It is your standard Hallmark type rom-com. We all know how they work out. Not the point of the presentation. The point is that this is about Nick, the gentleman you see here on the screen, and Susan, his lawyer. He wants to sue a dating website called Love Guaranteed. So, without giving you the entire movie, he goes on a certain amount of dates. The website claims that if they go on 1,000 dates and they don't find love, then there's like a disclaimer. He's wanting to sue them because of how far he's been. So, in this movie, there are a lot of connections to, it kind of dabbles between chapters 2 and chapter 3. The biggest focus is the online dating from chapter 3. There are some self-disclosure things that it does touch on. And just a spoiler alert, I have attached some screenshots from the film. So if you haven't seen it or you want to watch it before, grab your favorite beverage and have a good laugh because it's a really cute movie. Especially if you've ever online dated, you could be like, yes, this is happening all the time. So here we go. I did provide the trailer for you. If you haven't seen it, I don't want it to take up the majority of the time. So if you do want to go back and see kind of what this is about, then it'll kind of explain it to you. It will automatically play. There we go. Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, this is her secretary, and they're talking about suing this company, and they basically tell her, well, how can you do this without even knowing what you're getting yourself into or understanding the concept because she hasn't online dated. And she states that online dating can be so soul-crushing. And it's funny, but then it's also so relatable because we can see them understand that the process is exhausting. We get to see in this clip, you see the motivational process, the construction process. You also, even though they are doing this for Susan, she's kind of involved. She's overseeing it. She even states that she has to proof it first. She doesn't want to be sounding weird or she's very worried about what kind of impression that they are going to construct for her. Even though it's a fake or phony account, I mean, it's really her, but she's just doing it for, big air quotes here, research. But I find it interesting that even though she knows she's not actually going on these dates to date, she's still concerned with what they're putting out there, what picture they're using, how they're portraying her. They go over a bunch of the profiles together and how she's creating herself. And it's a funny, lighthearted way of them doing it, but it really does touch on how important we find that to be. And we know that what we present out there is the first impression that people are going to get. So I really like that connection. One of my favorite scenes of the movie is when the staff, which her staff consists of 2 people, but when they decide to scroll through her dates for her, it even has the caption, it says, ooh, what about this one in the flannel? It proves Wright and Webb right, or it just really backs up that information on page 50 about how important someone's attractiveness is. And anytime you've been dating in 2020 or 2021, um, if you haven't let somebody swipe left or right for you, um, it's just something that all my friends have done. It's something I've done for a couple of my friends. I'm like, let me see, I can find you a date. It's always lighthearted, and then you think about it, it's like, oh, I did this lightheartedly, but how is that affecting the other person on the other side of the screen? You know, she states that it's so soul crushing that, you know, maybe we don't think about that because it is too easy to just either yes or no them, like you're picking out an outfit. Um, so I really like how that made us think about that, and how it does prove that point home of that physical appearance is the leading factor to most of the matches. Later on in the movie, she starts meeting up with the dates that he's been on and that he's claimed, you know, were not not the end all be all of it all. All these girls are telling her, oh, he's great, but, you know, XYZ, and then, but at least he didn't ghost me, or he was super normal, or he actually looked like his photo. Another point from chapter 3 is people maybe not using accurate descriptions, creating the images that they want people to see. And she actually goes on a couple of dates, and you get to see how this looks and how this works. If you have never online dated, it does bring home like a sense of that for you. I just found it kind of funny that they definitely were like, oh, well, at least he didn't ghost me. That's not covered in chapter 3, but it's a newer term of when someone doesn't show up. They set everything up, they get you there, and then they disappear like a ghost. What you see is not what you get. The scenes are relevant to chapters 2 and chapter 3. Here's why. She gets shown the profile. Everybody is like, oh, look at this person. They're cool. And here we see Pam in her hand. Oh, she's nice. She's a 5th grade teacher. She enjoys hiking and gardening. She sounds wonderful. And then you actually go on the date, and Pam starts to disclose way more than her profile actually presented itself to be. She talks about how she can't eat anything and what she can have and what she can't have. They kind of make her more extreme than maybe the actual date in real life would go. But you know, it's a movie. It may be embellished just a little bit, but it also touches on the dishonest parts of online dating and how people stretch the truth, and how they may only highlight the things that paint them in a great light instead of, oh, and I'm allergic to shellfish, and this will happen if I eat it. And you know, we don't say anything, not that that's a bad thing, but we just don't really disclose that type of information. But here, she just kind of spews out everything that he is not ready for on a first date. And you can see his face. He's a little like, not real sure if this is how this should be planning out. So this drives home the point too of what we want to disclose and how we disclose it and when we do that. For her, a first date was a great time to bring all this stuff. For him, it was not. And it's also not something that she disclosed in her profile. Had she had gone into all of these details, he may have never even agreed to go out on a date with her. Some words of truth is that anything that sounds too good to be true on the internet is probably a lie. Not that that's necessarily true, but it's funny. It's just, overall, this movie was originally just a laugh for me since I had tried online dating after my divorce. It was as awful as the movie had portrayed it to be, but they were so spot on with the dating lingo changes and the secret codes that nobody knows about until you're online for a while and actually thrown into it. The movie did a great job of capturing the ups and downs, and even without even knowing, a pretty good example of several of our points in chapter 3. So if you haven't got to watch this movie, I really hope you do, and keep our textbook in mind when you watch it, and it'll just kind of point out, oh, you know, you will make those connections too. So I hope you enjoy it, and Let me know if you like the movie.